This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in California. I'm here with Mia Davis. Since 2020, this self-taught artist has specialized in vibrant, realistic, and abstract paintings, drawing inspiration from the natural world, her travels, and emotional energetics. Mia, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to start off a little bit about yourself. You were formally educated with a BA in psychology, an MS in traditional Chinese medicine. Even before you finished high school, you were accepted into the Art Institute of Chicago at 15 years old, but you decided to pursue your degree in wellness in order to support people in their health journey. Share with me a little bit your passion of art and how it began.
I grew up in a house where everyone was creative. My dad did murals in our local town. My mother she was a seamstress, but she also did crafts. And we were always around music. So say I grew up in that sort of environment. And that just really, impinged on my and my passion for art as I got older.
Let me ask you this. I mean, obviously, every artist has a story. Do you feel your story is reflected and really inspires your art?
Yes, I believe so. So in my story, I've lived in different places here in the US. I've traveled quite a bit. As a young girl, I had a passion for animals and for nature. And so that really comes through in my art and what inspires me most as far as my subject matter. So a lot of my art on my website that you'll see online is animals. I was a veterinary technician for quite some time. And so I used to do pet portraits. I'm an animal lover. I have pets of my own. So that resonated with me as well. And then I love being out in nature. I love hiking. I love being outdoors and everywhere. And so that really speaks through in my art.
I mean, your studies have prepared you to treat physical ailments, but is our mental well-being a focus that you were also drawn to?
Absolutely. So when I was doing my studies in Chinese medicine and I was in clinic, I was seeing patients with a lot of physical ailments. And what I saw was connecting all of them after a couple years of being in clinic was that there was always an emotional component to it. There was always a mental component, whether it was stress or something else that was plaguing the patient. And so as we treated that, sometimes that was presenting as the predominant thing. Notice that physical ailments started to improve, not always 100%, but they improved. So I started to see that connection pretty early on. And then afterwards, I started to study other books on emotions and the physical connection. And I just noticed that that was really something that isn't as talked about in the health world, but is something that is definitely talked about in the mental health world. And so, yeah, that connection I definitely made, and it's something that I'm very passionate about exploring.
I mean, speaking of our well-being, how much do you think our surroundings and our environment play a part in that? I mean, including the art that we have around us.
Yeah, I think you know it's incredibly canny how much we take our surroundings for granted, but how much it really does affect us. So, our eyes, our sensory organs, particularly our eyes, we're seeing things and we're processing things at an incredible rate every single day, from television to, our homes to where we go. And so that definitely, as we take that information in, it affects us. Just as much as food that we take in affects us or things that we touch affect us, it all has an effect. But I think the visual aspect is not as looked at typically. But having beautiful things around you, I think things that really speak to who you are, what you value, what you enjoy, it definitely helps your mental wellness and just makes you feel happy, I think.
I mean, is the well-being something that you keep in mind when choosing the colors, maybe even the placement of your subjects in your paintings?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So early on, before I became professional in painting, a lot of my subject matter was just realistic, what I saw, and then I could just draw it as I saw it. But I started to play around with colors. And um, for example, in pet portraits, when I see a dog and they have a certain personality, in mind to keep in touch with the colors that might go along with that personality. You know, a dog that's a little bit more mellow, I might add a little bit more blue to the palette. A dog that's really, you know, like terriers, for example, because I have one, who are really exuberant, I add yellows and different warm colors and vibrant tones. And that definitely can impact in bringing that animal to life on canvas and bringing the picture forward and letting you not only interact with it visually, but also from an emotional standpoint.
That is interesting. I mean, we've been showing some of your paintings on the screen right now for our viewers. What mediums of art have you worked with, and what are your favorite?
Yeah, so I primarily love paint. Acrylic paint is my favorite go to just because it's very easy to work with. The colors are bold and vibrant. But I've played with oil paints, a lesser known to the public wash paint. Played with watercolor. We're still learning how to get along. It's not my expertise, but I love watercolor and what it can do as well. But I've also played around with clay. I've played around with different textures in painting, but primarily acrylic and oil paints are my go-to.
Interesting. Be it a portrait, landscape, an abstract, do all your works convey kind of a story or a feeling for the viewer?
Yeah. So typically, when I'm getting commissioned for a painting, it's usually of a loved one or a pet that has passed on. That's been sort of what has happened thus far. And so when I'm looking at that person or that animal, I'm always thinking about their personality, the story of their life, how I can bring that to life on canvas, and uh, you know, how can I, even though I'm doing something in the 2D, with, you know, instead of 3D, how can I bring sort of a 3D aspect to their personality? For example, there's a portrait I did of a person. His name is John, who passed away. I did it for his brother. And one of the things that John loved to do is to water ski. And so, you know, you don't see very many pictures of water skiers where it looks like it's coming to life, but I was able to capture the motion of the water and his expression and just how much he loved doing that sport. And so, yeah, I definitely keep that in mind when I'm thinking about how I want to position the subject and if I want to include things that they love in that portrait.
I mean, your original art is available to purchase right there online on your website. The commissioned art that you've been speaking about, I mean, share with me a little bit about that process. How does it start? Does it start with a consultation, or what do you do?
Yes. So with commissioned art, usually someone will contact me via social media or on my website via email. And then we hop on a call, 15, 30 minutes. I love to get to know the people who I work with. So I usually say 15 minutes, usually go longer just because we get into conversation. And I have a lot of questions for them. After that process, they send me images of what they would like done. I do art abstract as well, but most of my commissions are of people, loved ones, things of that nature. So I usually get a couple of images from them digitally. They can send it to my phone or email it to me. And then from there, I will take those pictures and I will sometimes do a combination of those pictures into one portrait, or I'll use one as the basis for the inspiration for drawing that portrait. And in terms of staying connected with the collector throughout the process of painting, I make sure to send them pictures to get their feedback, you know, and to make sure that it's something that they will enjoy once it's completely done. After that process, you know, once they okay it, now I'll tell you this, some people, they don't want to see it before it's over. They just want it to be sent out and to be a surprise. So I offer that as well. But then I make sure to include a certificate of authenticity, you know, for the person who's receiving the art. And then, yeah, I ship it out.
That's exciting. That's kind of cool for somebody like that to I think I'd be the kind of person I'd want to be surprised and just see what you come together with. So basically, if
Yeah.
someone has an image of a loved one, a pet, maybe a wedding scene, or even a place recreated, you can create a custom piece, be it for their home or even their office. Is that something we're seeing more of? People putting it in their offices as well.
Absolutely. I recently did a piece for a guy in finance down in LA, and he just wanted something fun for his office because, that can be stressful and in his terms, kind of a boring job at times and stressful. So he wanted something that was vibrant and really colorful. And so, I asked him for images of inspiration, what he really enjoyed, and then created a piece for him that really lit up his office. So yeah, I think that's a beautiful thing to keep in mind. And also, I will say that more offices, as people go back to offices now that we're post pandemic, you know, what's top of mind is mental wellness, making sure that stress levels are down and that people are actually enjoying the environment that they're in. And art has, I will say, plays a big part in making sure that happens in those spaces.
I mean, you say that the beauty we experience in life is often made up of a string of temporary moments. You permanently capture these moments so they can be enjoyed and experienced daily. Is this work rewarding for you?
Oh, it's the most rewarding. It's the most rewarding. I will say, when I was treating patients, I love the feeling of seeing them get well. But that's, for some people, it's a temporary thing. It's something that you can just enjoy in the moment, and then you do the work at home. But a painting is something that is timeless, and that you can move around to different spaces, change colors in your own home, in your office, and give it a different look. So it becomes really a part of you, an extension of who you are. And I think that's a beautiful thing to have in your home, your office space. And for me, it's rewarding to see when a collector goes, aha, like you captured it, like that's it, like that's perfect, or that's exactly what I was wanting to convey, but I just don't have the skills you know, to do it. So that to me just lights me up.
As an artist, you definitely enjoy it as much as your viewers do. That's very exciting. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is a website. On the website, you can find more original art that you can purchase right there as well. If you have an idea for your own custom art piece, set up a consultation. You'll be able to send her images. She'll get an idea of exactly what you may want. She'll be able to add an artistic flair to it as well. Her contact information is at the bottom of the screen right there. Once again, that is Mia Davis, specializing in vibrant, realistic, and abstract paintings, because the bright side of life does not have to be fleeting. It can be captured, to be enjoyed, and experienced daily. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.